Welcome to this segment of the video seminar series. We're going to be discussing issues associated with portfolio management and particularly the basics of portfolio planning and construction. These are really fundamental topics. This is a short segment with particular attention paid to the investment policy statement and all the factors that are going along with the overall investment policy statement. And then, so what is this investment policy statement? Well, I think you've undoubtedly heard about IPS, and some people kind of think about it. Some people don't even use the idea of an investment policy statement. They just say IPS. Okay, what it means really, that's what it is. But what the IPS is, it's a formalized statement of who, what, when, where, how dollars get invested, who does investing, what the portfolio manager can invest in, what are the objectives of the client, and it just also identifies specific characteristics of what type of process you're going to be following whenever you make investments for the client. It is a formalized document. What does that mean, formalized document? It's written down, and you write down and you include the investment objectives and constraints, a clear statement of the investor or the client's risk tolerance, what type of discipline on both the client and the manager, and what's meant by that is that the client is responsible for some certain ideas and concepts and topics, like keeping the portfolio manager informed of changes in their individual situation, when the manager has certain ideas that they have to, certain issues that they have to take care of, formulating a performance review, scheduling when that performance review is going to happen, etc. And there's also an idea as to whether or not, or at least coming up with a evaluation type of period whenever that states that, or at least provides some evidence as to whether or not the portfolio generated or did what it was supposed to. And in order to be able to do that, you have to have a benchmark portfolio that's going to be consistent with the investor circumstances and the investor preferences, so that the portfolio, if it's deviating from the benchmark, is probably deviating from the portfolio, from the client preferences and the client expectations, objectives, and constraints also. All right. So what are some of the major components? Writing down the investment policy statement and have everybody agreeing to it is one aspect. Then you actually have to do what? Then you actually have to implement. You have to actually implement. You have to invest in something. That's the idea behind an investment portfolio, right? And whenever we're talking about portfolio management, I mean, we have to manage a portfolio. What does that mean? We actually have to invest in a portfolio so we can see it before we can manage it. So from that aspect, we actually have to construct an overall portfolio. So we would use some of the foundations that we've seen and presented in the portfolio management area about risk and return, both parts 1 and part 2 of those segments of the video series. And that the standpoint is that we want